All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Tiger Torture Perspective. This is my second installment of this podcast show, and I appreciate everybody for stopping in to see a man and check out what I got to say. And I hope I keep y'all tuned in. The first thing I'm gonna start off with today is that I got some corrective criticism, and I don't mind taking that. Somebody told me that on my last podcast I was getting into my thoughts too long, and honestly, it might be true, but the reason why I do that is because a lot of times I take notes of things that I want to say. A lot of things I'm thinking about something about things that I want to say, and then I have to make sure that it's proper. One thing I've learned by watching other people on these podcasts and YouTubes and everything is that you got to be careful what you say, because whether we have one subscriber, one viewer, or a million subscribers and a million viewers, people hang on to every word you say. So I just want to make sure that the words that I use and the words that I say are the right ones, and I don't insult anybody. And if I did, I don't do it intentionally. So getting right into it, last week I told y'all that I felt that nothing was going to happen to Trump, and sure enough, all this past week, even non-Trump loving judges ruled in his favor. So a lot of things is going in this man's favor. Like I said, I don't think anything's going to happen to him. I believe that the Florida case with the classified information, that's going nowhere. I believe Trump is using that. Um, he set them up. Trump is a counterpuncher. I believe he set them up for everything he's doing. Because if you watch everything that Trump does, everything he does, he's setting precedent. And what I mean by setting precedents, I'll give you an example. For the longest, out of all the lawsuits they've been having, they've been trying to get his tax records. Right? That's all they kept doing, going after his tax record. We need his tax records. We need his tax records. You know why? Because they can't get him on nothing else. They couldn't impeach him in anything. But guess who went to jail for tax evasion? Al Capone. So they were trying to use him as he's some type of capo and get him on some tax evasion. Then they would have said, "Oh, we're going to lock him up," and even if he didn't go to jail, then he would have been ineligible to run for president. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him ineligible to run, even if they don't get jail time, just a conviction for him not to be eligible to run. I don't think none of that's going to work. I think what they're going to do is I'm going on the record right now. I think Joe Biden is out. I believe Joe Biden will be out. I don't like giving actual dates and times, but he's definitely going to be. You're going to definitely hear him getting out around March or April. They're going to say either he's mental, his mental capacity is not up to par, his physical capacity is not up to par. He'll probably take a big fall or something and say he can't do it no more, and then he's going to be out of there. And then once he leaves, I believe that the person that they're going to bring in, and I've been on the record saying this a long time ago, but I'm going on the record officially saying it out my mouth, not a text or anything on Facebook. I believe that they're going to bring in Michelle Obama. I believe Michelle Obama is going to be the one that's going to swoop in because they're going to need the black vote. And right now, Trump has the black vote. No president wins without the black vote, and nobody's going to vote for Biden. He sucked at everybody. He played that card. When he did that, if you don't know if to vote for either me, Trump or me, you ain't black. Basically was saying that all black people better vote Democrat. If not, you ain't black. That's called identity politics. Because so many black people went and voted for him to prove that they was black when all they had to do was go look in the mirror. So I think what they're gonna do, they're gonna bring Michelle Obama in. It's gonna be a funny time. Just do me a favor, listen to this clip, and then you understand what I'm coming from.
You stand on the issues. What and there's been a story of a year ago or something like that. So, some people have alluded to this, saying you said you were with Roger Stone last night. Roger fully believes Michelle Obama is going to be
Yep.
the one that's going to come in,
Oh,
and he said this to us multiple times. So, Texas Senator Ted Cruz has raised the possibility that Democrat kingmakers might opt to replace President Joe Biden for Michelle Obama before 2024. I'm emphasizing Biden's age. Cruz stated on his podcast, Verdict with Cruz, that he views this scenario as a very serious danger. Cruz outlined reasons why Michelle Obama could be an appealing choice for Democrats, including her popularity amongst African American women. He suggested that she could be parachuted into the 2024 national DNC scheduled for August 2024 in her hometown of Chicago as a way to avoid a divisive primary, potentially with the assistance of superdelegates.
as a way to avoid a divisive primary. No, as a way to avoid the vetting of candidates. Our candidates should be vetted. The whole process is about vetting a candidate. And so, parachuting in is a really convenient way of not being asked tough questions, of allowing the media to just, go gaga over somebody. I would need, as a voter, and I hope that Democrat voters would want more vetting on where.
And that's pretty much what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna try to bring her in. See how they kept saying Joe Biden was in the basement? He didn't answer a lot of questions, but he still got elected. He never really said what his platform was about, but he still got elected. They're gonna try to use the same tactic, but they're gonna swing it with Michelle. Michelle gonna come in. It's gonna be summertime, the whole summer. You're gonna see Obama out here telling you what you need to do again. Everybody gonna say Obama's my daddy again and all this other nonsense. Start praising this dude. Oh my God, please don't do that. Please don't fall victim to the identity politics that they're gonna play. See, right now, the reason why I believe that they're trying to bring get Biden out, because one thing that I think Biden's gonna try to pardon himself. He's gonna play stupid, and then he's gonna pardon himself and his son. But he's gonna get out so he can say he did it before, you know, all these indictments that's coming down on him and his family. So they're gonna send Michelle in, and I believe Michelle's coming in to give Obama some protection because a lot of the things they did together. A lot of things Biden did while he was vice president. Allegedly, Obama let him do, or he did under Obama's nose, and that makes Obama responsible also. Like, you know that you can't just go to war. A president can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to war with somebody." So what Obama did was he started dropping drones on people all overseas. All that's going to come back up. All kind of things going to come up next summer. So just I'm telling you now, Obama's drone attack's going to come back up. I believe the Iranian one's going to come back up. A lot of things are going to come back up. See, like what I said, Donald Trump is setting precedent. And what I mean by precedent is, see how like I was talking about his taxes and taxes, taxes, and taxes, taxes. His taxes was fine. But he made them take him to the Supreme Court to get the taxes because now he set precedent that now you can go after the taxes of a former president. See what I'm saying? That means he could go after Obama. That means he could go after Biden. He go after all of them because he just set precedent that you could do that. And you know what else he set precedent? He set precedent that he go after everybody's children too. Because didn't they do that to Ivanka and Donald Trump and drag them all into court and all that? Guess what? Didn't they say that they saying on news right now that Biden and his brother was and his wife was embezzling money or getting money from different countries and they even put some of that money in a grandkid's name? Like all that's gonna come out. All this about to come out now. Right after I personally believe the winner. Like I said, we gotta make it through this winter. Excuse me. If we make it through this winter, then you're gonna see the geopolitical field go bananas. I'll keep it real. To me, it's exciting because not that I want to be right about these things, but to be told that, you don't know what you're talking about and you ain't right, and then find these things come true. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell y'all. You ever be right so many times, like somebody boxing, and you hear the dude be like, nah, watch him, man. He gonna hit him. Watch him. He gonna slide him and hit him with that left, drop him. And then all of a sudden, shoot, shoot, slide, hit him with the left, drop him. You be like, how you know that? Homeboy studies boxing. You ever see those ladies that could watch Jeopardy and answer every question? Because that's what they study. My cousin Tony could tell you everything about a Nova. There's people that could tell you everything about football. And then there's some people that could tell you stuff about the geopolitical field. Not just me, a lot of people that do that. I might be a nerd with this, but it's fun to me. And it's weird because I get excited when I see that, because when these people do foul stuff and they about to go down. You know how I know they about to go down?
I think in light of all of the things going on, and you know what I mean by that, the fake news, the Comeys of the world, all of the bad things that went on. It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. On top of that, we have the best economy, greatest economy we've ever had, the best job numbers we've ever had, African American, Asian American, Hispanic, the best ever. So I think
some startling whispers are.
So basically, he said he got him. See, this is where Space Force come in. Everybody laughed at Donald Trump when he said Space Force. Everybody thought it was a joke. See how he said only he could have done it? What did he do? Behind the scenes, what did he do? Did you see the laws he passed? The things that he did? He created Space Force because he can't trust nobody in none of the other parts of the government. So he created something that he could trust. And see, here's the crazy thing about it is, like I said, this stuff is fun to me, is that Space Force was not under the Posse Comitatus Act for 2 years. It took 2 years before they came under that rule. And the Posse Comitatus rule is that the United States military cannot do any type of exercise against an American citizen. The U.S. military can't spy on American citizens. The U.S. military can't attack a U.S. citizen. They can't do that to Americans. But the Space Force wasn't under that for 2 years. So for 2 years, you go look up Space Force. Go do it. I'm telling you, don't believe me. Don't believe nothing I say. Go check it for yourself. Go look up Space Force and see what their mission statement is and what they're capable of doing. This man just said he got him. He caught him. He caught the whole swamp and everything they did. What did he catch? What is he talking about? See, remember, there's a couple of people that did things that might be considered high treason. I think that when when Biden tried to get out, he's going to pardon himself. He's going to try to pardon his son. He's going to try to pardon his whole family. He's going to pardon everybody in the Democratic Party. He's going to pardon like 1,000 people. But guess what? You cannot be pardoned for treason. So he can do whatever he wants. And remember, if he tries to pardon himself, right? And after he pardons himself, they find out other things that he did, he can still be convicted of that. You know that, right? A lot of people forget what Hillary Clinton did. When he was talking about Comey, you remember what Comey said?
Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that
He's talking
no
about
reasonable
Hillary Clinton.
prosecutor would bring such a case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before deciding whether to bring charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past. In looking back at our investigations into the mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. All the cases prosecuted involved some
treasonous.
combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information, or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct, or indications of disloyalty to the United States, or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see those things here. To be clear, This is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
You better not
To
do
the
it.
contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that's not what we're deciding now. As a result, although the Department of Justice makes final decisions on matters like this, we are expressing to Justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case.
All right, and this is what she did.
They destroyed BlackBerries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what we want the president to say.
Actually,
And by the way,
Evan,
and
hold
by
on.
the way,
Can you fact check that? Hang on,
Evan
Perez. Hammers fact.
They destroyed BlackBerries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what we want the president to say.
Actually,
And by the way,
Evan,
and
hold
by
on.
the way,
Can you fact check that?
hang on,
Evan Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke.
Thanks,
as you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, in some way were used.
Right now on this clip I'm reading, it says FBI, 81 Clinton email chains had classified info. She wasn't the president. She had no right having that. She wasn't supposed to have anything on her phone to anything. And this is what she did to it.
with hammers in the State Department. That's not what we want the president to say.
Actually,
And by the way,
Evan, hold on. Can you fact check that? Evan Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke.
Thanks,
as you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, in some way were used with her private email server, and they did, in some cases, just destroy them with hammers when they were done using them.
That's a pretty good way of destroying.
She forgot
that's a
her
pretty good way of
training. No,
destroying
it's
a
not.
device.
That is absolutely not following the rules and regulations of the State Department. You know it. Your 52 reasons just went down to 1. No reasons left. Listen, here's the bottom line here. This is somebody who's disqualified from becoming president. She said that she didn't remember her training because of her concussion.
So she busted down 13 Blackberries and a bunch of tablets that was used to pass classified information in. She had a server in her house, an illegal server in her house, where anybody could tap into that server and get any classified information, government information. Was she selling the United States out? What was she doing with that? She wasn't supposed to have no classified information. And then she turns around and busts it up in what's name. Comey says that she didn't do nothing wrong. Nobody would ever think that she did anything wrong. But if you did it, you'd probably be thrown in Guantanamo. One more clip.
Let me ask you this question, because I think this is the next logical question, because the president of the United States, you, unlike, say, Hillary Clinton in her case,
Right.
a president has the power to declassify.
Correct.
Okay. You had said on Truth Social a number of times you did declassify.
I did declassify, yes.
Okay. Is there a process? What was your process to declassify?
There doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it. There's different people say different things, but as I understand, there doesn't have to be. If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything. Now, process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything. When you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything. Now, I declassified things, and we were having a lot of problems with NARA. NARA is a radical left group of people running that thing. And when you send documents over there, I would say there's a very good chance that a lot of those documents will never be seen again. There's also a lot of speculation because of what they did, the severity of the FBI coming and raiding Mar-a-Lago. Were they looking for the Hillary Clinton emails that were deleted, but they are around someplace?
They were deleted, but they are around someplace. I'm telling you, Space Force got him. He got these people. They know he got them. This is why I'm saying it's going to go down. Trust me, he did this. He knows what he's doing. He's messing with them. He's at a pressure to get across the board. Like I said, he's going to try to check out the precedent he set, and then you understand what I'm talking about.
Mr. President, If you were reelected, would you pardon yourself?
I could have pardoned myself. Do you know what? I was given an option to pardon myself. I could have pardoned myself when I left. People said, would you like to pardon yourself? I had a couple of attorneys that said, you can do it if you want. I had some people that said it would look bad if you do it, because I think it would look terrible. I said, here's the story. These people are thugs, horrible people, fascists, Marxists, sick people. They've been after me from the day I came down the escalator with Melania. And I did a great job as president. People are acknowledged. Great economy, great jobs, great this, great that. Rebuilt the military, Space Force, everything. I could go on forever. Let me just tell you. I said the last thing I'd ever do is give myself a pardon. I could have given myself a pardon. Don't ask me about what I would do. I could have, the last day, I could have had a pardon done that would have saved me all of these lawyers and all of these fake charges, these Biden indictments. They're all Biden indictments, political. They indicted. They want to arrest their political opponents. Only third world countries do that, banana republics. So, ready? I never said this to anybody. I was given the option. I could have done a pardon of myself. You know what I said? I have no interest in even thinking about it. I never even wanted to think about it. And I could have done it. And all of these questions you're asking me about the fake charges, you wouldn't be asking me, because it's a very powerful thing for a president. I was told by some people that these are sick lunatics that I'm dealing with. Give yourself a pardon. Your life will be a lot easier. I said, I would never give myself a pardon.
Even if you were reelected in this moment?
Well, I think it's very unlikely. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. You mean because I challenged an election, they want to put me in jail?
So basically what it is that he set that precedent. So now if Biden tries to pardon himself, what's that going to look like? That he's guilty. He did do everything he did. Trump didn't pardon himself. He could have. He's going through all these lawsuits and he's winning them. He's beating them. He's been, how many lawsuits you think Trump been through already? I would say at least 9 or 10, easy. And what they're doing, they're trying to break him. In New York, they try to get this man to pay like $125 million fine for damages. And even the banks is like, what damages? He didn't do nothing to us. Everything he did was on the up and up. They try to say that he tried to overvalue his property. But see, when if you don't understand business, you would think that he's guilty of that, but it don't work like that. If Donald Trump was trying to get a loan from a bank and he said his property is worth $20 million, the bank ain't just going to give him that. The bank is going to send their own people out there to assess the property themselves and be like, okay, it's worth about $20 million. Or no, this thing is worth about $8 million. We ain't giving you 20. So the banks was like, no, he didn't jerk us. He didn't overvalue his property. The judge tried to say, no, I think that building is worth $10 million. I don't care if you said it's worth 5. I think it's 10. You overcharged them. You overvalued your buildings. That's basically what's going on with this guy. And they keep losing. And they're gonna keep losing. And as long as he keeps setting the precedence, what's gonna happen is it's gonna be his time to go for them. And a lot of people don't understand it's something called discovery. See, when he goes to trial, that's gonna be the only time that finally, because notice that when he's going through all these things, he's never really had his say so yet. By the time he get ready to have a say so, most of these charges are dropped. So he never ever had discovery. But in Florida and Georgia, they're going to try to really bring him to trial. And once he do that, he's going to be able to cross-examine and talk to everybody. And if he declassified all that information, then all that information is going to be able to be brought into court as evidence because he declassified it. And once he declassified it, I don't think Joe Biden and his team know everything that Donald Trump declassified. They can't. There's no way they know everything he declassified. They can't find it. You know how many articles and forms and things in the government that has been classified over the years? They classify everything. So they have no idea what he declassified. And if he declassified everything, because notice what he's about to say. He said, I. He said, I declassified. He's about to say we. Who's we? That means he's not by himself. He's working with a squad. He got his own team of people that's doing the same thing. So when he said we declassified, which he was about to say, then he said I. That means that there's a team of people watching, which I believe is Space Force. I'm telling you. You heard of new technology, blockchain and all that? What kind of technology do you think they're using? So anyway, with that being said, I'm telling y'all next year, I believe Michelle's going to be sweeping in. Kamala's going to be the first black female president. They're going to let that happen. It's not going to be Michelle. It's going to be Kamala. Because Biden's going to be out. She's going to be the next president brought up, and then Mike Johnson's going to be vice president, who's going to have the deciding vote on a lot of issues. So right then and there, you can see the setup. Trump already put all the Supreme Court judges in place. So who's going to overrule them? Like, they might be seeming like they room for the Democrats now, but watch Donald Trump, he get reelected. Now you're going to see let's say the opposite side go at it. Now it's going to be their turn. So when that happens, just know that the 2024 election season is going to be on and popping, y'all. So just get your popcorn and, like I said, please just do your research on whoever you plan on voting for. It's up to you. Me, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep trying to push this guy. We need him. We need our money back. We need lower taxes. Like, for real, man. These taxes are killing me right now. I'll be honest with you. But anyway, we're gonna leave that alone right now. We're gonna go into the conspiracy section of the line. The line is a building that's being built in Saudi Arabia. If you go online right now, you can look up the line. Construction actually started, and you can see what I'm talking about. So part of this thing, what I said last week, is that to me, it reminded me of the Maze Runner. Life imitate art, art imitate life. But actually, what really got me was being RBSM certified. That means I'm a registered building service manager. I'm qualified to run buildings. I'm a truck driver by trade. My wife wanted me to come home, so I became account manager, and I took the test and got certified to run buildings. So as an account manager, the first thing I look at when I seen that building, the first thing I thought about is, all right, who's going to run that? How many people's going to run it? And what's the budget? Now, when you look at that facility, it said that it's going to create 380,000 jobs with a population of 9 million people. So me, what I did was I tried to find a spot that had 9 million people. I'm from New York, so I started, why not use New York City? New York City has a population that lives in New York City, close to 8.5 million people. This is last year's statistics, 2022. And I also looked up how many people do the city of New York employ. And the city of New York employs about 340,000, just slightly over, but about 340,000 employees. So that's probably right on par with what they're saying, creating 380,000 jobs, 9 million people. That's fine. Okay. Then I asked, how many people work in New York City, including people that live in New York City and commute to New York City? Almost 3.5 million people work in New York City on a daily basis, commuting in and out. Some live there, some don't. But it's 3.4 million, 3.5 million people for Museum of Natural History, for, I don't know, if you want to go jet skiing or boat riding, a helicopter ride, or shopping, or go down to catch Broadway or catch a show. All these things are jobs that people have to make that city run. 3.4 million people. So with a structure that big, 9 million people, you figure it's going to have at least almost 4 million people working at a 9. If it's only going to create 380,000 jobs, I'm thinking, how's that going to run? How's it going to work from a facility manager's perspective, right? So then I start thinking, okay, based on the structure, based on what I told us, and based on that the Saudis really do what they say they're going to do most of the time, so the structure is already in progress of being built, I must assume it's going to be built. Until it's stopped, to me, it's going to be built. If it's going to be built, then what is going to be built for? 380,000 people when you really need 4 million for 9 million people, it lets me think that either that's going to be an AI prison, because that's the only thing that could run it in conjunction with the 380,000 humans, right? It's going to have to be AI or robotics. So is that going to be one of the first AI cities? What's really crazy about that, I found out that if I'm not mistaken, that mountains that's behind that scene, I might be wrong, might be a different mountain, but the mountain that's behind the scene, I believe Saudi Arabia is going to be throwing the 2029 Winter Olympics. The Olympics going to be in Saudi Arabia, and they don't do it in the mountain. Look it up. Look up what they building Saudi Arabia is building in the mountains for the 2029 Olympics. That's crazy. And if that's what's behind that mountain, that's up in that mountain, that whole design is ridiculous on what they're building. 8th, 9th, 10th wonders of the world. But okay, back to the facility. So now I'm also thinking, okay, if it's not going to be a prison and it's not going to be AI, how they going to get it to work? Then it might be like the Starship Enterprise. See how everybody on Star Trek, everybody got different shirts, yellow, blue, green, whatever. That is based on what you do. You work in the cafeteria, you work in the engine room, you work in your defense, your security, whatever. Everybody has a different color. Is that how they're going to have the line? Are they going to have people that live there, work there? That's how they run in the spot, and then have tourists. I'm going to tell you something that makes me nervous. Being a building manager, if you were to stand outside, right outside next to that glass, right? They said that building is the Empire State Building. So you just go outside, you stand right next to that glass, like standing outside the Empire State Building, look straight up. That's all glass. And then look to your right, 100 miles of Empire State Building side by side. And that's a big mirror right there. If you turn around and have the mirror at your back and you're looking forward, that means that the sun is facing it, right? So imagine walking towards that mirror with the reflection of the sun. Ooh, those some hellified sunglasses. It's just like a magnifying glass. When the sun heats it up, the sun's gonna heat up that sand. It's probably too hot. Now, if you're standing right next to that building and you have to walk how far away from that glass to be able to see the mountain behind it? Probably almost twice the distance of the size of the building. So that means that that's all gonna be reflection coming right at you. And then on the other side, that's on the mountainside, that right there would be what? Dark and cold, but it'll be reflecting the mountain. So I'm seeing how they could use the heat on one side, the cold on the other side, and kind of translate that into some type of energy. I can see that. But the only thing I'm saying is just be careful with technology. We're moving fast. I'm thinking that after next year election, you're gonna start hearing all the things like start looking up something called med beds. Remember when Trump said there's all kind of technology that should be released and he's gonna release it? What technology was he talking about? There's a lot of technology out there that they haven't even allowed us to use. Just think about the way they're not educating us. So it got to be more technologies because the things that they building, the AI that they got coming up, artificial intelligence, these robots that they got, and when you merge those together, what are you going to have? They're going to have to start coming out with AI laws pretty soon. But with that, I'm just gonna I got some more conspiracy stuff that I'm looking at, and pretty much one of them is gonna be like, what if we all right? What if nobody's wrong? You got to keep telling everybody's wrong. What if everybody's right? I'm gonna leave that part at right there. But somebody also asked me and was like, "Am I being lazy? You know, doing these podcasts?" And he's asking me like, I'm not putting video up. I'm not. I don't have no music up. I don't have nothing like that. And I'll be honest with you. The reason why I don't have no music up and anything, because originally me and my late wife Yolanda, we supposed to do this podcast. So because she's not here right now, in my mind, not having the drop, not having intro music, to me for a while, is just me giving her a moment of silence every time I start this podcast. That's just my personal behind the scene reason of why I don't do that. Now, as far as actually not putting up the actual video clips that I have, oh, I know how to edit that. I could put that in if I want, but I don't do it. And I don't do it on purpose. For a long time, I've been trying to find a way of how I could express why I think the way I think. And I've been scouring the internet to try to find some way I could express it. Like, I'm always like, yo, all right, I'm about to draw a picture. If you're an artist, you could draw this picture. Just listen to what I'm saying. You could draw what my vision is. And I figured it out. So who you're about to listen to right now is Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
Dr. Janice Hale was the first writer whom I read who used that phrase. Different does not mean deficient. Difference is not synonymous with deficiency. It was in Dr. Hale's first book, Black Children, Their Roots, Culture, and Learning Styles. Is Dr. Hale here tonight? We owe her a debt of gratitude. Dr. Hale showed us that in comparing African American children and European American children in the field of education, we were comparing apples and rocks. And in so doing, we kept coming up with meaningless labels like EMH, educable mentally handicapped, TMH, trainable mentally handicapped, ADD, attention deficit disorder. And we were coming up with even more meaningless solutions like reading, writing, and Ritalin. Dr. Hale's research led her to stop comparing African American children with European American children, and she started comparing the pedagogical methodologies of African American children to African children and European American children to European children. And bingo, she discovered that the two different worlds have two different ways of learning. European and European American children have a left brain cognitive object-oriented learning style. And the entire educational system in the United States of America back in the early 70s when Dr. Hale did her research was based on left brain cognitive object-oriented learning style. Let me help you with them 50-cent words. Left brain is logical and analytical. Object-oriented means the student learns from an object, from the solitude of the cradle with objects being hung over his or her head to help them determine colors and shape, to the solitude in a carrel in a PhD program, stuffed off somewhere in a corner in absolute quietness to absorb from the object, from a block to a book. An object. That is one way of learning, but it is only one way of learning. African and African American children have a different way of learning. They are right brain, subject oriented in their learning styles. Right brain, that means creative and intuitive. Subject oriented means they learn not from an object, but from a subject. They learn from a person. Some of you all are old enough, I see your hair color, to remember when the NAACP won that tremendous desegregation case back in 1954. And when the schools were desegregated, they were never integrated. When they were desegregated in Philadelphia, several of the white teachers in my school freaked out. Why? Because black kids wouldn't stay in their place. Over there, behind the desk, black kids climbed up all on them. Because they learned from a subject, not from an object. Tell me a story. They have a different way of learning. Those same children who have difficulty reading from an object and who are labeled EMH, TMH, and ADD, those children can say every word from every song on every hip-hop radio station, half of whose words the average adult here tonight cannot understand. Why? Because they come from a right brain, creative, oral culture like the griots in Africa who can go for 2 to 3 days as oral repositories of a people's history. And like the oral tradition which passed down the first 5 books in our Jewish Bible, our Christian Bible, our Hebrew Bible, long before there was a written Hebrew script, or alphabet who could memorize and repeat incredulously long passages like Psalm 119 using mnemonic devices in 8-line stanzas, each stanza starting with a different letter of the alphabet. That is a different way of learning. It is not deficient, it is just different. Somebody say different. I believe that a change is going to come because many of us are committed to changing how we see other people who are different.
So basically, what I'm saying is that the reason why I do some of the things that I do,
I felt
is
confident
because
in the work I did.
But when I came home, I felt lost.
what it is that when I try to, all right, it's like this. I'll give you an example. A boy was walking down the street with a basketball, and he was bouncing it, and he was feeling happy. And as he was walking down the street, he seen a dog behind a fence. And the dog wanted to get out the fence. So the boy, looked at the dog, made sure it wasn't going to bite him. And he opened the fence, and the dog started walking with the boy, and he just kept bouncing the ball. Now, I just told you that story, right? Now, one person could have took that whole story that I just said and envisioned a boy walking down the street in a nice suburban white neighborhood with white picket fence and big giant houses, green grass, just cool, breezy day. That's what that vision was about. Then somebody could have had a vision that it was a young black boy walking down a Manhattan street, nothing but brownstones. And the little fence he opened was a little puppy right there. Or it could have been somebody, a little Spanish boy, heard the same story, but he hears the story, and what he envisions is a boy walking down the street, bouncing the ball on a dirt road somewhere in one of the back Mexican streets, and it smells like good food. But everybody in their vision saw a little boy going down the street, bouncing the ball, and let a little dog out the fence. But everybody's vision was different. That's why I don't put it up. That's why I ask everybody to listen to a vision, because it's my story, is what I'm telling you, but it's your vision. And because it's your vision, it's less likely that you forget. Because I didn't create that vision. You created it. I just told you the story. So when you start self-memorizing and self-drawing and imaging, like Brother Wright just said, the way we learn orally is because we can envision things in our visions and our stories. That's why hieroglyphs are all pictures. You know what I mean? A lot of things are pictures that's being drawn because it tells a story, and you can see the story through the pictures. And that's how you memorize it. A lot of Mexican families, the Aztec Indians, they did the same thing. They tell stories through the mouth. I'm Shinnecock Indian from Long Island. I know for a fact when you go to the powwows, what do? They tell you Indian stories and stories of the past verbally. They don't sit there with a book and then turn the page. There's somebody just sitting there just talking, and you just listen and you remember. So that's why I do it like that, y'all. That's why I don't put up videos. That's why I only let the sound go so you can understand what I'm saying. You can visualize it yourself. You can come to a conclusion yourself. I'm not implanting nothing in your brain. I'm just telling you a story. So that's part of my style. See, when me and Yolanda was talking about starting a podcast, one of the things that I definitely wanted to do was come up with, let's just say, another business model. I just wanted to do things just a little bit different, become a little interactive. Like, for example, with education, with me, is not always what you're learning, it's how you're learning. How are you absorbing it? How are you remembering it? Do you know which education you should keep? So, for example, there's a book called Propaganda by Edward Bernays. It's a small book. Trust me, it's about $12, about maybe less than 200 pages. I would suggest everybody get that book for Christmas, and after you read it, pass it to everybody in your household. When everybody in your household finish reading it, sell it to your neighbor for $5. You might pay $12 for it. Sell it to your neighbor for $5, and then tell him when they do the same thing, pass it to somebody else. Because see, once you understand what propaganda is, and how propaganda is being used against you, then it'd be less likely that you could be used against you. Remember the story about the guy who know how to box and do. He knew the slip was coming? My cousin Tony about the Nova. You know about all that? I'm telling you about this because I kind of know about it. So, just practice on the way you learn. Think about the way you learn. Think about the way you teach your kids. Think about the way your kids are being taught. How you retain things. What's the best way for you to retain it? How do you retain it? You see these new teachers that you see on TV, and they singing songs to the kids to try to get them to understand what they learning. Some people laugh at them. I don't, because I'm looking at it like, yo, are they retaining it? Because my mother taught me how to spell my name and everything by singing. That's how my mom taught us. Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. That's how you spell tiger. You understand? It's easy to do it. That my mom's really taught me like that. Facts. So I think that's why it's easier for me to do it like this, because I wasn't taught under this common core crap. You know what I mean? I think that's the worst thing ever. But anyway, as far as that goes, just I do it for a reason. I'm not gonna put up no real clips. I don't want to put up no real clips. I mean, last podcast at the end, I put the dedication to my wife. If you're seeing it, you're seeing it. If you didn't, you didn't. I just did that so that, like I said, I could humanize her. Put in the history books. I remember that movie Coco. My wife first died. First thing I wanted to do, and went and bought a canvas, put it on the fireplace. It's about her being at the end of that first, installment. She's humanized and in the history books. So that's the education part. So we're gonna go right to the let's go right to the my perspective. After Yolanda passed away, I started to have to do things that I wasn't conditioned to you doing. Like I said before, I was a spoiled husband. My wife had me spoiled. So one of my youngest daughter told me last week that she asked me, why you keep buying rice? I'm placing the order and everything. She's like, no, we don't eat white rice. Only you eat white rice. When mommy makes your coconut rice, you're the only one that eat that. We eat the yellow rice. And I never really noticed that she made me my own meal and the kids ate something different. And now that she's not here, my daughters are kind of telling me what their food preference is, because I've been cooking and they're not eating nothing. I'm like, what's going on? And then they be like, we don't eat that. This is what we eat. This is what we eat. So now they start to make lists. But the reason why I say that is because usually when I go food shopping, if I had to, I would get a list, go in and get what I got to get and go. But now I'm learning I got to find out new things, and I'm going through the old Walmart list and all the old food lists to kind of figure out what I'm supposed to get. So I'm walking through the store looking like a new jack, right? But one of the things I'm noticing is that no matter where I go, whether it's Target, Walmart, Food Lion, wherever, I don't know, wherever I'm going, I'm hearing all these ladies talk about their nieces and nephews just dumbing out, being disrespectful. And I realized that shout out to all the aunties, because all the aunts are the ones that's out here that's really holding it down. Nobody gives the aunts any respect. Auntie is holding it down for a lot of y'all. And a lot of y'all are disrespecting your aunts. And the aunts ain't holding it down because dad ain't there, or mommy's by herself, or she's some baby mama. But no, a lot of times auntie's holding it down because mommy got to go to work, because daddy's on the road double clutching it somewhere across the country, or daddy's somewhere across the world defending our property so that we can have the life that we live. Shout out to all our military men, putting it on the line for us. But yeah, truckers, they out there doing it. Yeah, you ever seen what these electricians got to do for the lighting company or the water company? A light go down, a pole go down, they outside, they don't matter, they don't call. So a lot of times, auntie got to hold it down. And auntie's been holding it down. But I've been noticed that a lot of these nieces and nephews have been disrespectful to auntie. That's what I'm hearing everywhere I go. Yeah, she's so smart, but she's just being so rude, or I don't know. That's the last time. I don't think I'm gonna let him sleep on the couch no more because he ain't even apologized. You understand what I'm saying? These are things I'm hearing, stuff like this. So what I got to say to the aunties is this: enough respect to all y'all. I love y'all. I love my aunt. My Aunt Karen used to hold me down. Oh, my Aunt Karen used to hold me down. What? Nobody knew, but my Aunt Karen, man, she came to my rescue many, many times. Many, many times. My Aunt Karen would just see me once in a while, be like, yo, what up, Tiger? I'm like, how you doing, Karen? Like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. She told me like 500 out of nowhere. Facts. I'm not even lying. I kept it real with my aunt. I was the only one I could walk. No, I ain't gonna. Anyway, shout out to the aunts. My aunts held me down, all of them. Aunt Marilyn, Christine, Aunt Michelle, Aunt Sharon, Aunt Karen, Aunt Doris, Aunt Francis, especially Aunt Francis. But yeah, all you aunties out there, enough respect. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, check this out. When my wife passed away and I had to start raising my daughters, my friend Damien, he was like, yo, listen, man, you gotta start learning soft love. You can't be hard like that. You know, you're a trucker, you're always on the road, you're aggressive sometimes too. You can't be like that with them. You gotta learn soft love. And I do, and I've been doing it. So what I'm gonna tell you, aunties out there, because maybe y'all need to hear this. Nobody's telling y'all. We respect y'all, and we love y'all and everything, but damn, y'all gotta start showing some tough love to these nieces and nephews. They taking advantage of y'all. Y'all doing a disadvantage to them, letting them keep getting away with the nonsense they're getting away with. Now I know dad is on the road or doing what he gotta do, working hard shifts. Mama's working, trying to come home, take care of the little ones, your sister or whatever, and you trying to hold them down, and you trying to help your brother raise his kids and all that. And you're doing what you got to do, and I appreciate that. I know everybody does, but at the same time, stop letting them run over y'all. The next time he don't apologize, next time he do something disrespectful, nah, you ain't sleeping on the couch. You can sit on the deck and it ain't raining. Go sit on that chair in the deck. You ain't coming in the house till you apologize. Start showing some respect. Your little niece want to act like she grown, she know everything. Don't loan her a dime no more. When she said, "Oh, I need $23 for some gas," be like, "Then you can pay Friday." Yeah, but I went out. Well, you shouldn't have went out. Or if you do gonna give them the money, make them take out a loan. Make them sign an agreement. Go to a notary. You want $20 every time you do it. Make them sign an agreement. Let them know what life's about, because they're gonna keep running over y'all. That's pretty much it. Stop it, y'all. Learn some tough love. All you fellas like me raising our daughters, we just gotta learn soft love. But for real, auntie, stop doing that. You're not helping them. So once again, I appreciate y'all, and I thank each and every one of y'all for once again stopping by, listening to me, give me your time. If y'all got a corrective criticism for me, y'all got anything to say to me, like I said, drop a line. Also, if you are part of any foundation, nonprofit that's trying to help people out here with kidney disease, please drop a letter, please drop a note, please drop a comment. Let me know how I can help, and I'll try my best to give you a hand. So with that, thank you. Until next time, if there's a next time.